Well, good afternoon, everybody. I'm going to start our program in just a second, but before I do that, I'd like to introduce a couple of young folks. Amanda Barker is the head of our MOVE office at the Mayor's office. That's the Mayor's Office of Volunteer Engagement. Many of you know her work, and she put this on today, and let's give her a round of applause. She did so many great things on this today. And of course, she worked with Gilbert Montano, who's our deputy CAO at the city of Albuquerque as well. So Gilbert, thank you so much, and all the staff. Everybody that's wearing one of these lime green shirts had a lot to do with today, so we want to make sure that we give them our thanks as well. Well, today's a special day. Thank you, man. Today's a very special day. All across the country, mayors are standing up, just like I am, and they're saying thank you to their communities. This is an idea that I first heard about in January when I was at the Mayor's Conference, which I always go to that in Washington, D.C., and I simply had a group come up and mention something to me in the hallway. They said, Mayor, would you be interested in joining the first ever Mayor's Day of Recognition for Volunteerism? And I started telling them the stories about Albuquerque and the great volunteers that we have and all the wonderful things that are happening in our community. And they said, well, wow, you would be an absolutely great city to do this in. And I said, absolutely we are. And I think by the looks of today, everybody that's here and everybody that's showed up, I think I would venture to guess that there's nobody in the country doing this better than we are today. So, and it's all because of you. You guys are fantastic. So we all know that volunteering is an important part of any city and making a great city. And great cities simply are made up of great people and great neighborhoods. And part of that equation are great volunteers. And I cannot imagine the cost of trying to address some of the things that we deal with as a city, as a state, as a nation, without people like yourselves giving of your time and your talent, and in some cases your treasure, to help others in need. And I know that today's event is really made possible by some very gracious sponsors. I want to mention them briefly. And then we're going to get into some awards today, and I'm really excited for that. But a special thanks goes out to ConocoPhillips, Wells Fargo, Blue Cross Blue Shield is here today, Sandia National Labs and Lockheed Martin, P&M, Leading Edge Voice and Data Communications, AmeriCorps, Pizza 9, by the way, the pizza's great, Coca-Cola, Dion's, Outcomes Inc., Corporation for National and Community Service. These are folks that are out in our community doing business in many cases, but they're also great corporate partners, great corporate stewards as well. So we are always so thankful for our sponsors to be able to put events like this on today. All across the country, as I said, today people are recognizing volunteers, and we're going to get into that in just a minute, but I have some speakers that I would like to bring up. And first of all, I would like to bring up Dara. And Dara Ambrose. We've got some great groups and great people to honor, but before we do that, as I said, I want Dara Ambrose to come up. She's a representative of the Corporate Volunteer Council, and she's one of our MOVE board members. Dara also works as a volunteer rep for Cardinal Health, and she's a volunteer superstar, and I'm thrilled to have her here today on the team, and I'd like her to come up and share a few words. Let's give her a round of applause. Dara.
Thank you, Mayor. Good afternoon. I have the honor of representing the Corporate Volunteer Council of Central New Mexico here at today's MOVE Awards. In New Mexico, many businesses are striving to be strong community partners through service because of the value it brings to their business strategy. Employee volunteer programs not only benefit the company, but also provide professional and personal development opportunities for employee growth and deeper community engagement. For the company, volunteering can help establish brand awareness, trust and loyalty from the public, networking opportunities, and morale building. For employees, volunteering can be an empowering and transformative experience. Employees can utilize their skills to help build nonprofit capacity or gain new skills by working with that organization. According to Boston College Center for Corporate Citizenship 2012 survey, data suggests that when corporate citizenship activities such as corporate giving programs and employee volunteer programs are integrated into a business strategy, the company is more likely to realize success with those activities and more likely to achieve desired business outcomes. Employee volunteer programs are not limited to large corporations. Small and medium-sized businesses can have a huge impact on the nonprofit organizations they partner with. Through skills-based volunteerism, smaller community banks or credit unions, for example, can have the same impact as their larger counterparts in programs such as financial literacy. Through collaborative projects, the business community can achieve collective impact. Organizations don't have to tackle community issues alone. National service movements such as Make a Difference Day provide a forum for large businesses to work side by side with smaller ones. Although larger organizations might have a full-time community relations representative or even a team, many organizations can have an effective program with the resources available locally. Some of those key resources in helping companies develop or enhance their employee volunteer programs are the Corporate Volunteer Council of Central New Mexico, the Mayor's Office on Volunteerism and Engagement, the Center for Nonprofit Excellence, and Share New Mexico. Many of these organizations can put you in direct contact with nonprofit organizations as well as provide the forum to learn about inspired practices, successes, and challenges within employee volunteer programs. Many of the key corporate citizens are here today to showcase their work within volunteering in the service arena. So as we celebrate volunteers today, here's to all the companies that actively support employee volunteer programs.
Thanks, Darren.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, Darren. Next, I'm going to bring up Greg Hallstrom. And Greg has had an exciting career in the U.S. military with UNM and also as a consultant. He's been active in the volunteer world for at least 27 years, and I know many of you have been longtime volunteers as well. His interests include prison ministry, search and rescue, and home repair and maintenance. And I know a little bit about the home repair and maintenance side of it. I was showing my staff, I got a little chewed up doing yard work this weekend. He's one of the founders of Love in the Name of Christ of Albuquerque, Love Inc., and is currently the executive director of Community Link ABQ, which focuses on helping people help people. Please help me welcome Greg Hallstrom.
Well, thank you, Mayor. When I was asked to speak up here, I actually started doing my research. I started looking up numbers, and most of you don't realize that the volunteerism in Albuquerque is huge. Share some numbers with you. In the state of New Mexico, the average is 154 hours per year per volunteer. Neat number, but when you take that into our population of 552,000, that says that 147,000 people volunteer in Albuquerque. 147,000. That's a huge number. Now, if you take it times the 154 hours, that's over 2 million hours of service that is actually out there. Now, I've been working in the faith-based community a long time, so I took that and, believe it or not, 35.4% of our people come out of the faith-based world. So it's a third of our population, and that's 52,000 people doing 8 million hours in the faith-based community. Now, let's take it to money. Everybody likes money. The value of a volunteer hour is $21.79, if you'd like to know that. But that's $493 million worth of effort that's gone into our economy. That's a hidden economy that a lot of people don't consider. It is huge, but it's also the economy that has made the United States as strong as it is, because we take care of each other. Now, taking it one step farther, if you look at 2,080 hours is what a full-time employee is, the mayor probably does not realize that he has the equivalent of 11,000 employees out there working to make this a better city.
Yeah, that's great. That's awesome.
So count those 11,000 in your numbers. Why did I say that? The statistics basically give you an idea for the magnitude. This is just the tip of the iceberg that you see standing around here. There are 1,647 501c3s registered in Albuquerque. That's 1,700 organizations that are charitable right here in Albuquerque. We couldn't definitely all fit in this room. Now that doesn't include the churches and the faith-based organizations that don't register under the 501c3. So some people are a little leery about working with faith-based individuals because they figure they might get pressured into something. Well, I've been doing this in the faith-based world for 27 years, and I've never seen that happen. Now, it doesn't happen. It may happen. I've seen it or heard of it one time. But those volunteers are out there really focusing on helping people. They're trying to ease the pain and the suffering and increase, basically, the lives and the individuals. They do it out of a sense of gratitude and thankfulness for all the things that they have received. They want to give back. And I know that's why the vast majority of volunteers do it. They want to give back. Now, a couple of years ago, I realized that nonprofits, ministries, and social service agencies, they have trouble getting resources. So that's one of the reasons we started Community Link ABQ. The goal is to resource nonprofits, social service agencies, and ministries with volunteers, with funding, with publicity, with all those things that they need to go ahead and do their mission and keep going. Now we need to work alongside each other. Everybody in this room needs to work with everybody in this room. Collaboration is the strength that comes out of volunteerism. And I'd like to thank all of you for coming out. Thank all of you for all the things that you do, and keep up the good work.
Thanks, Greg. We've got one more speaker, and then we're going to get into the proclamation and our awards. And, you know, when we joined the national movement to host an event to celebrate volunteers, we were eager to hear from the community and read through those nominations, and we got many great ones. But it really meant a lot when we started getting national attention here in Albuquerque for our volunteer base. And I'd like to thank Michael Garcia for that. Michael J. Garcia serves as the New Mexico State Program Director for the Corporation for National and Community Service. In his role, Michael oversees the New Mexico program portfolio that consists of 60 AmeriCorps Vista and Senior Corps programs. He served as one term as the Vista member and an additional term as a Vista leader, and aside from serving in the CNCS New Mexico State program, Michael has a history of national service. After completion of his Vista service, Michael went on to become the project director for the Vista project, and he was a member of. Michael served as a Vista project director for 4 years before becoming the CNCS New Mexico State program director. Please help me welcome Michael Speaks.
I said Michael Speaks, I'm sorry.
It's okay. It's all right, Mayor. My pleasure to be with you folks today, all the volunteers, all the community members, all the nonprofits. And on behalf of the Corporation for National Community Service and our CEO, Wendy Spencer, I want to thank Mayor Richard Berry for signing on to commit for the first ever Mayor's Day of Recognition of National Service. There are currently about 825 cities whose mayors committed to recognizing national service. Mayor Berry was one of the lucky 15 who is being highlighted nationally for his commitment to national service. That shows how strong he is. And how much of a champion is for volunteerism and service to the community. Without leaders such as Mayor Berry, service and critical services that our volunteers conduct wouldn't be able to be done. I also want to thank all the volunteers that are here with us. You guys are the ones, this is your recognition ceremony. You guys are being here celebrated today for all the work that you guys do in your communities. As I said earlier, some of the services that you guys do in your communities are vital, 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 vital. I can't say how important they are. You know, talking about some of the Senior Corps programs that are operated through the city of Albuquerque, we got, you know, warm meals being delivered to elderly seniors who can't be out because they're homebound seniors. Or we have programs that cater to the younger folks, such as, you know, Southwest Youth Services, where they focus on a healthy lifestyle and a positive way of living for Native youth in Albuquerque. So these are services that, like I said, wouldn't be able to be done without our volunteer support network. One great thing about volunteerism is that you can volunteer throughout any time through your life, whether you want to do it on the younger spectrum, do it AmeriCorps, or you can do it on the older spectrum. We'll take you as we can get you. Come and volunteer, you know. But there is one thing that volunteers have that nobody else has, and that's the greatest heart. You know, volunteers give back. They do it on their own time. The time that you guys give is priceless. You know, earlier they were trying to put a figure to the specific dollar per volunteer hour. I mean, we can't put a price on that. It's priceless. You guys are going out of your way to do your volunteer service in your communities, and it's just the greatest ever. Kind of speaking to greatness, I want to leave you guys with one quote from, you know, the great Martin Luther King. You know, and that is, everybody can be great because everybody can serve. You know, so I want to see everybody out there at least doing some type of volunteer service this year. Thank you again to all the volunteers. Thank you for Mayor Barry for committing to recognize national service. And I'll let you guys get on with the program. Thank you for having me.
Thank you, Michael. Michael Garcia. Michael mentioned a woman named Wendy Spencer. And met with Wendy when I was in Washington last January. We talked about some grants for the city of Albuquerque. They were on a fantastic program. The Vista Volunteers just came through with some of their new folks that are getting into the program for the first time. We went and spoke to them out at the airport by the hotel, or the hotel by the airport, and everybody really had a great time, and a lot of promising folks in that room. And one of the things that I talked to the group about was, I said, you know, I've run across people all my life in business, in athletics, in elected office. I've met presidents and everybody else and all those different things, and I've never in my life ever met anybody that looked me in the eye and said, you know what, I wasted my life, I squandered it in service to others. You will never hear that. You will never hear that. You hear a lot of I squandered my life stories, but you never hear I squandered my life in service to others. So thank you so much to everybody that's here, Michael, and please send our best to Wendy Spencer, please. We're going to give our awards out. I'm going to read a proclamation, and then I'm going to have Delaney Woodward from my office come up, and then we're going to start handing out some volunteer recognition and some awards. While she's working her way up to the podium here, let me read the proclamation that we issued for today. Whereas service to others is a hallmark of the American character and central to how we meet our challenges. And whereas the nation's mayors are increasingly turning to national service and volunteerism as a cost-effective strategy to meet the needs in cities. And whereas AmeriCorps and Senior Corps address the most pressing challenges facing our cities and nation, from educating students for the jobs of the 21st century and supporting veterans and military families, to preserving the environment and helping communities recover from natural disasters. And whereas service expands economic opportunity by creating more sustainable, resilient communities and providing education, career skills, and leadership abilities for those who serve. And whereas service participants serve in more than 70,000 locations across the country, bolstering the civic, neighborhood, and faith-based organizations that are so vital for our economic and social well-being. And whereas national service participants increase the impact of the organizations they serve, both through their direct service and by recruiting and managing millions of additional volunteers. And whereas national service represents a unique public-private partnership that invests in community solutions and leverages non-federal resources to strengthen community impact and increase the return on taxpayer dollars. And whereas the Corporation for National and Community Service shares a priority with mayors nationwide to engage citizens, improve lives, and strengthen communities, and is joining with mayors across the country to support the Mayor's Day of Recognition for National Service on April 9th, 2013. Now therefore, I, Richard J. Barry, Mayor of the City of Albuquerque, do hereby proclaim today, April 9th, 2013, as National Service Recognition Day. Congratulations to all of you. All right, let's get down to the goodies. More than 100 volunteers were nominated to be recognized, and in addition to the awards, about 60 local organizations are participating in our volunteer fair. I was amazed when I walked in the room. I know we're supposed to have it on Civic Plaza today. Thank God for the rain. I mean, that's all I can say. So we were happy to move it in here. Thanks to Lou Dolly and everybody at SMG that runs the convention center for helping us get this moved in here. But so we listened to the incredible statistics, and in total, the volunteers in these groups have logged 806,000 hours for 2012 at a value, as we heard earlier, of $6 million if we paid the minimum wage. And so that's amazing, and that's not even including the $21 that we heard about earlier, and that's absolutely fantastic. So now what we're going to do is I'm going to have Delaney Woodward. There's Delaney. She works in my office, in the mayor's office, and she's going to read off the names of our nominees, and all of you will receive a certificate following the reading of the names. Then we will announce the awardees. So as Delaney reads the names, if we can have the folks get their certificates come up on stage, and we'll pose for a quick picture, and then we'll move on to our award ceremony. So with that, here is Delaney Woodward.
All right, so our first nominee is Andres Couch. April Cedillo. Barbara Michels. Bernadette Gallegos. C. Herman Mani. Charlie Wood. Darren Wilkins. David Fontaine. Diane Jones.
The flash isn't going off. The flash is not.
Rick Jones. Donna Jernigan. Dr. Donna Upson. Evelyn Gilbert. Francis Sanchez. Frank Amenduri. Frank Estrada. Jerry Landgraf. Heidi Sanders. The Honorable James Browning, who is not able to be with us today. Irene Olivas.
You do this one then?
Jacqueline Hockey. Joan Reeves. Kyle Nye. Lynn Ruger. Marie Henkel.
Pretty tall yourself. Are you here?
Marie Henkel.
Okay.
That's Marie.
Mary Fox. Mary Miller, who also could not join us today. Michael Santopolo, who also could not join us. Nancy Wiggins. Natividad Arieta.
Not bad. You bet.
Paul Chappelle. Renee Groot. Robert Bailey. Robin Sanchez.
Okay, that's right. There we go. Thank you.
Robin looks like she's not able to join us today. Rolando Franco. Rosemary Ojeda. Roxanne Weiss. Sam Huffnagel, who is unable to join us today. Susan Holman. Suzanne Slankard.
Try to take you out with the Susan. Yeah, there you go. Let's get a quick photograph. I hear that. Got it?
V. Carol Stewart. Right here.
We just celebrated Carol's 104th birthday.
Val Crockett. Virginia Grauman. Wayne Summers. Ivana Eden Londo. And now for our group category, our group nominees. The Biopark of New Mexico. Blue Cross Blue Shield of New Mexico. Catholic Charities Senior Transportation Services.
Catholic Charities. Good to see you. Good to see you again. How are you?
Friends for the Public Library.
library, folks. All right.
Okay. The Foster Grandparent Program.
Yeah, this one here. Fractal.
The Fractal Foundation and Fractal Ambassadors. Girl Scout Troop 136.
136 or 100.
And this is a representative from the Fractal Foundation. Granny Bell's Angels. New Mexico Black History Month Organizing Committee.
Got it?
Presbyterian Healthcare Services Volunteer Services. The Risen Music Ministry and the Freedom in Music Project. SWAT for Greater Albuquerque Habitat for Humanity. The Church of Jesus Christ of the Latter-day Saints.
We go reverse order today. Didn't know you wanted them. Hey, you betcha. You betcha. See ya. See ya. All right, let's get a quick photo now. The young man in the red shirt. All right, good. Thank you, guys.
The Modified Dolls.
Go out the red. Great story recently.
Watermelon Mountain Ranch.
Look around over here. Got it?
And we have our representative from Friends of the Public Library. Wells Fargo. finally, Winslow Wood and Associates.
I have two more here in my hand that I didn't. Did we get those out?
Yeah, we had extras. Thank you.
Great. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Delaney. All right, we have some awards that we're going to give out, but first I'd like to recognize my Move board, which helped with the selection process for each of these awards that we have today. Everyone on my Move board is a volunteer and has committed hours to reading nomination forms and putting thoughtful effort into their decisions. A huge thank you to the City of Albuquerque Move Board for all the help they were in this event. If you're here, please stand up. Would you please? Let's give them a round of applause. Okay, our first award is our Excellence in Volunteerism Group Award. And when I read your name, why don't you come on up and I'll be reading the description of your efforts while you're on your way up. And the winner of our Excellence in Volunteerism Award goes to the Foster Grandparent Program. So come on up, everybody. This program stood out because it fills two great needs of the community. Number one, engaging our senior citizens and mentoring and developing our youth. There are more than 80 foster grandparents here in Albuquerque serving at 44 different sites all over the city. And these volunteers serve an incredible 83,520 hours annually, providing assistance to their assigned children. Through their program, 160 children are provided with direction and support from these foster grandparents. And the foster grandparents commit to 50 to 40 hours of service a week, 9 months out of the year. That's a big commitment. They're placed in classrooms to work with children who need additional attention. And the amount of donated hours by this volunteer group alone totals just under $2 million. So I'm very proud to have such an inspiring organization. Let's give them a round of applause. So with that, we're going to give them an award right now. Congratulations.
Who wants to grab them? Thank you so much.
So Alex,
Now, let me get behind you guys because it's like.
oh, you're so tall.
Turn around and take a photograph there for you. All right, everybody. Thank you so much. This is so wonderful. Thank you so much for all that you do. I'm sure you do. Got it? Excellent. Thank you so much. I'll grab one when we're done as well. Okay. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, our second award is our Corporate Star Group Award. And this year, the Corporate Star Group Award goes to Wells Fargo. Wells Fargo, come on up. They're our corporate star for many reasons. Their team members contribute over 18,000 volunteer hours annually with an economic impact of over $300,000. Their employees volunteer in numerous organizations, including Junior Achievement, United Way, Albuquerque Reads, Habitat for Humanity, American Cancer Society, Salvation Army, Ronald McDonald House, and many more. Wells Fargo, as a corporation, offers their team members 16 hours of paid time off annually to volunteer. That's amazing. That is really amazing. Wells Fargo employees can also apply for volunteer leave for up to 4 months of paid time off to volunteer on a specific project. It's an amazing example of what it means to engage the community at the corporate level, and that's why I'm thrilled to give the Corporate Star Award this year to Wells Fargo. All right, our third award is for the Distinguished Volunteer Individual Award. And our Distinguished Volunteer Award this year goes to Mr. Darren Wilkie. Mr. Wilkie is an outstanding volunteer with the Special Olympics, and the words used to describe him on his nomination include, quote, relentless, creative, reliable, trustworthy, sounds like the Scout Oath here for just a minute, well-studied, prudent, joyful, humble, and full of integrity. He's committed 5 years to the Special Olympics, and every year has expanded the organization's reach in tremendous ways. He participated actively in the Over the Edge event, which has brave volunteers rappel 16 stories down the New Mexico Bank and Trust building in support of Special Olympics. I got asked to do that as a mayor, and I said, that's okay, I'll send a check. His first year as a rappeller in the Over the Edge event raised nearly $5,000. In his second year, he more than doubled that number, on over $10,000 in donations. Darren was described in his nomination as being an all-time great volunteer and a gift to the Special Olympics of New Mexico. So I'm so proud to announce him as our 2013 Distinguished Volunteer Individual. Okay, I'm looking through my notes here. Our fourth award is also a Volunteer of the Year. So this is the Volunteer of the Year Individual Award, and this is our last and final award. And the fourth and final award this year for the Volunteer of the Year goes to Dr. Donna Upson. Dr. Upson is a volunteer on the Albuquerque-Bernalillo County Air Quality Control Board. She's described as being a calm, gentle, and open-minded leader on the board and has a passion for doing what is right for the overall community. She has a lifelong dedication to clean air, healthy lungs, and a healthy community in Albuquerque. And just on that front, I think Albuquerque was just voted the 7th cleanest air in the country. I think we're a wonderful clean air city. In addition to her volunteer service on the Air Quality Board, Dr. Upson volunteers on the boards for the American Lung Association and the American Thoracic Society. Did I say that right? Thoracic. Yeah, it's spelled thoracic. Yeah, thoracic. Her commitment to clean air reaches far beyond service on a board, however. She has advocated for issues relating to clean air at the New Mexico State Legislature. In fact, I think I remember you when I was there. Testified before the U.S. congressional committees, met individually with U.S. senators, written editorials for the Albuquerque Journal, and fought for funding for Iraq and Afghanistan war veteran lung injury health issues. Dr. Upson's commitment to and focus on clean air and lung health in Albuquerque is truly remarkable, which is why we're thrilled to present here with the 2013 Volunteer of the Year Award. Wow, you guys are awesome. I can tell you, just give yourselves, everybody in this room, give yourselves a round of applause. We just can't do it without you. In fact, we just want to make sure that we're here to facilitate your volunteerism through the MOVE office in the mayor's office. Anything that we can do to help, please do not hesitate to call. It's just such a thrill for me as a mayor. Michael said some nice words about we're one of the 15 cities this year out of all those hundreds of cities that are doing this that receive national attention. And that doesn't have anything to do with me, ladies and gentlemen. It has everything to do with you, because of your giving of your hearts and of your time. And I just tell you, it's just humbling as a mayor to live in a community that gives so much of itself to others. You should be very, very proud of yourselves. When your head hits the pillow tonight, I imagine you will have done some volunteer work today, but just feel good about what you're doing and go out and start telling the next generation. Get with some folks younger than yourselves, get with some peer groups, tell them all the joy that you find from volunteering, show them and tell them the stories of all the great things that you're doing in our community, because that can go a lot farther than anything any mayor can ever say about a subject. Is you're walking the walk, you're not just talking the talk. So God bless you all for what you're doing. Thank you, and we'll see you next year for our second annual. Thank you very much.